We'll stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're now doing 4.1, approve the agenda for October 1st, 2018. Okay, so do we have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote.
Johnson.
Aye.
Mars.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Ringer. Sisti. Zimmers.
Aye.
That is 6 aye votes.
Okay, President's report. Public comments will occur during the public comments portion of the meeting. If you're interested in addressing the board, fill out the required public participation at board meetings form and submit it to Ms. Mitchell, who is in the front row. Okay, at this time, we'll do board salutes. I'm going to start at this end. Ms. Moore?
I have nothing.
Okay. The one thing that I have, I don't know if anybody's aware of this, but National Education Association came here on August the 17th and trained all of our security people in the district. And this is a free service from National Education Association. It was a 2-day training, great training around a lot of different things for security personnel. They just wrote an article on their experience here. It's online from the National Education Association, a very nice, positive article about how impressed really they were with our security personnel in the district. So if you get a chance, look up that article.
Where's that online?
The National Education Association, yes. And it should be on their website online. Okay, Ms. Johnson?
I had an opportunity to go to the anniversary, 20-year anniversary of the Ball Charter School on September the 20th. They had a great turnout and they were having a lot of fun. They had t-shirts for sale. I meant to bring my t-shirt, but I forgot it. But
The red with 20 years on it?
yeah, and so I think they had a great evening. I also had something else to do, so I didn't get to stay long, but they had a really nice crowd, and there was personnel there who had retired or moved on or whatever, so it was a big family event, and I thought it was very okay. And I guess that's all I've done in the last 2 weeks, but it was well worth it. Well worth it.
Mr. Mars?
Well, just a couple things. As a parent of a student, the progress reports have come out. So, you can get those via, your email, your text. I've gotten a couple with the same one, hope that the grades would change, but they were still the same. But they were good, so not a problem with that. Also, we had a big event on Friday night. The Springfield Senators upset the SHG Cyclones. So that's the first time that's happened since I believe 1999.
19 years.
So go 186.
Anybody wants to know?
So thank you.
I have the report.
Okay.
I forgot something.
Okay.
Am I on? Yep. I actually attended the same night as you can hear me, as the Ball Charter event. I went to the ELC Family Fun Night. So it was really, there were a lot of different groups. I think Lanfear's basketball team participated, and there were a lot of high school students there, and the little kids really, really loved it. They were playing all kinds of sports with them, and it was really fun. I also attended the Fairview Fall Festival, and I have to shout out to Miss Nixon because she got in that dunk tank, and it was cold on Saturday. And those kids got her quite a bit. She was shivering, but it was a good time. Nice community event for the blocks around it. They shut off the streets, and yeah.
Good. Anybody else? All right, we'll move on to discussion items. 6.1, do any members have any old business they'd like to discuss? Hearing none, we'll move on to 6.2, new business. Do any school board members have any new business they'd like to discuss? Hearing none, we'll move on to student business. I know you have something.
For sure. First off, I want to follow Mr. Mars and shout out the Springfield High School football team and the student section for showing up. The Congress deserve a little shout out. We have a big roundtable meeting this week. We're talking with the participants to see if they'll be available to do 2 times a week a month, starting, well, hopefully this month, but for sure next month. Like I said, I'll be going to the boys pretty often to kind of talk with some of their leaders to see how we can get some more elementary school involvement with my role. I'm excited for that. I've been working with them for a couple years on the side, so I have a good connection with them. So we're really trying to get elementary school more involved for our next meeting and next roundtable activities.
Good. And I'm going to join you Wednesday in your roundtables, so.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks for having me, leading me. Okay, thanks, Zaire. There are no presentations to the board tonight, so we'll move on to business reports. 8.1, financial report.
Mr. Basco?
President Zimmer's, members of the board, for September, education fund revenues totaled $29.8 million, with expenditures totaling $9.2 million. Revenues exceeded expenditures by $20.5 million. In the operations and maintenance fund, revenues were $5,060,000 and expenditures were $1,046,000, with revenues exceeding expenditures by $4,013,000. And also at the end of September, our outstanding state payments are $2.5 million.
Have we heard anything about that 4th payment yet?
We got the 4th payment in last week, and then they immediately vouchered the first quarter payment.
So we are now made whole from last fiscal year, but what we're still owed is the first payment from this year, which is usually due about this time.
Right.
And it has been vouchered?
It has.
Wow, when's that ever happened?
Well, it's been
Oh, wow.
vouchered. That doesn't mean.
We've gotten it, but at least even vouchering it, yeah.
So.
All right.
Okay, any questions of Mr. Basco? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to 9.1, the superintendent's report.
Yes, thank you. I had a couple other, along with the Fairview and the ELC and the Ball Charter. Sandburg also hosted a camp night for families, and the attendees actually got to eat s'mores and have a hayrack ride and take home a new book. That's kind of cool. They got like a big open field back there behind the school. The weather was perfect, and they had a great night. Also, Du Bois Elementary has a project that they always continually do called the Excellent Drop. So what they do is the kids use it, the STEM activity, and they design padding for an egg. So that uses physics and different material science, aerodynamics. They research it, they resource their supplies that they need, and they actually engineer their compartments to put their egg in, and then they drop it off the like the 3rd story there at Du Bois, and they see how their egg fares, you know, whether it breaks or not. And I just wanted to give a shout out to a teacher who's really had this be her champion. I came into this district in the school year 90-91 to student teach at Ridgely Elementary School, and I was paired up with Gail Rechtenwall, and this is her final year of teaching at Du Bois, and this is something that she has done with her students every year. It's something, she excites the kids like no other. During science class, she wears an actual white lab science coat, and just it energizes the students, and I think it'd be a pretty cool study to see how many of her students have gone into STEM careers just because of the excitement that she provides. I don't think she's ever taught outside of 4th grade. That's been her niche. She's been at a couple of different schools, but I just wanted to give her a shout out on her retiring year for her final egg drop day, because it was a lot of fun, and I know that tradition will still continue. Also a shout out and a huge thank you to Rachel Baraski from Green Subaru. They donated 150 science books to Franklin Middle School. These books are like actual books that the students can check out of a library and read that have science related topics. And they were donated on behalf of the AAAS Subaru Loves Learning program. So it's great to see a community partner helping our students with reading. Also, I'll give Southeast a shout out. We gave SHS a shout out, but they also beat the Pioneers at Normal U High this past Friday night, only followed up by, you know, the greatest win ever with SHS beating SHG. So
Very true.
I was there in the crowd, and it was kind of like I was in high school again. It was definitely great student section. Zaire, I see you down there doing your best to lead and control all that, so I know it's hard on some occasions. I just wanted to also give the board and ask a little input. I shared this with Mike too. We have upcoming in the next month, we will be receiving our school report card information from the State Board of Education. So over the next few, the next 2 or 3 weeks, there's a lot of webinars for myself and my cabinet to listen to and attend. Illinois State Board is actually going to go out on the road, so to speak, and have some actual, they call it ISBE on the road, and they're going to come out and talk about the report cards to the different school districts. We'll be signing up for those sessions to learn more, because the report card does require a lot of collaboration between the state and the schools and also our federal government with its requirements under Every Student Succeeds Act. So there are some changes this year in the way it looks because of the elementary, the ESSA, the Every Student Succeeds Act. So with that being said, the dates for them to release those looks like the media is going to be able to receive a preliminary report card and draft that will be embargoed. So you can't publish it. You can only look at it on October 22nd. There's going to be a media call with Superintendent Tony Smith, the state superintendent, on October 26th, where you can ask questions or dig into the data, followed up by Illinois State Board of Education sending out designation letters. And those designations are required by law for any student, any school that is underperforming or considered lowest performing in the district. And we'll get those letters on October 30th, and then we will receive and they will be releasing or unembargoing that data on October 31st. So a little Halloween celebration for us to receive that information. So with that being said, oftentimes those meetings are very long when we go over the school report card, almost to the place where you can't really get all of the information because there's so much, you can't really focus on any one item. So I've done a little calendaring, and I wanted to see what the board thought in regards to how we would deliver that information. It is my hope that, Mrs. Boozer, on October 15th, we can have some preliminary MAP scores to kind of look at, because we will have finished giving the MAP assessment and maybe be able to see what some of our schools' MAP scores are. But we hope to be giving some of those snapshots of the MAP throughout all of our presentations to do some comparison. On October 31st, we get those report cards, but our next board meeting isn't until November 5th, right after that. So on that evening, we'd like to really dig into the high school data, the freshman on track data, graduation data that's received from that report card, SAT data, looking at our high school attendance rates, not only our chronic truants, but also our chronic absenteeism, and really dig into the data regarding the high school. Then follow up at our next board meeting on November 19th with information about the PARCC test. And that is 3rd grade through 8th grade in math and literacy. And then also looking at our elementary and our middle school attendance data a little bit deeper at that time. And we can also discuss the school designations on those 2 dates as it might relate to high school or elementary and middle school. And then following up with that, dig into our science scores on December 3rd and really look at our new science curriculum that we have at the middle school that's really using a conceptual model where we have 9 different components, and kind of see what the successes are around that, and how teachers are feeling about that new curriculum, and then also look at our science scores. Throughout each of these presentations, we would like to dig into the subgroups that are represented within the data, not just the whole district score, the school scores, but also look at how our subgroups of students are performing. This year, under the new ESSA law, there has to be 20 students in a subgroup in order for it to be designated as a subgroup, and that's actually less students than there were before to become a subgroup. And students have to be in attendance for 134 days in order to be part of a subgroup or counted in your scores overall. There are 2 new subgroups this year that are kind of interesting. One of them is called students who formerly were designated with a disability. So that means students who used to have an individual education plan but no longer have been dismissed from that programming, no longer have it, then that's a subgroup now for students who are formally designated. And then also students who are formerly English language learners. but have been released from specific programming. And I think that's a way to follow up on students who were getting supports and see how they're doing and how they're faring as a whole in our district. So if you're okay with that, kind of piecemealing it a little bit and building a big puzzle with different pieces at each board meeting, it might allow you, of course, all that data will be upfront given to you, and I will write my reports and you will have it so that you can have your questions ready, but it might allow for us to not have such a long meeting where you kind of want to space out after a while, and allow us to dig into a new report card that looks a little different and has some different data on it for us so that we can have some opportunities.
I just got a, I don't know if it's a question or a comment. When you and your cabinet do these webinars, and you guys have heard me say this for several years, but I didn't think we need to keep repeating it. I'm assuming Park is going to be no longer after this year.
Right, it is.
Or some version of the Park. I really think we need to keep repeating to the State Board of Ed, if they want us to take these tests seriously, they need to get them in our hands so we can actually utilize them in a timely fashion, because here it is October, and we're now disaggregating the information. We should have been doing this last spring.
Yeah.
And I think they need to understand that. And if there's a holdup because they're writing tests or whatever, send us the rest of the information that we're doing electronically so we can start disaggregating that. This is making no sense to me how they expect us a school year later to be analyzing the data and use it.
Well,
So
that's why we want to infuse the MAP scores in as well, so that you could, because that makes a lot more sense to
Right,
us. So,
I was just
Mrs.
gonna
Boozer?
add, Mr. Zimmers, that the principals and teachers did have that data in August, when most of them were doing their IoT retreats and looking at data. So
Okay.
they were
But
able to
it
get-
wasn't official and it was
wasn't
embargo.
official, it was
Embargo.
But at least they could see some of it. And then the new assessment is not called Park, but it's still Park.
see, and I know there's a,
That's the information we received. It's still Park, but it's under
Yeah.
a different name.
I know there's a way to do that, because this was several years ago, probably 10 years ago, when we did a visit to Kansas City, Kansas for the BIS program. The students in that state take a test, 2 days later they have the results, because it was done electronically. I don't know why we can't figure that out in this state, so,
It's a great point. Thank
okay,
you.
all right.
But they have contracted with a company who's going to use items that are very similar to the park and develop an assessment. However, Superintendent Smith, one of his main points with developing this assessment is short turnaround time. So we really do feel that since that was a part of the speculation of the companies bidding on the rights to create the test, that will happen. However, in your defense, we did hear that the last time around too. So I gotcha. I just wanted to let you know that at this time, there are only 10 students across the district who have not received physicals and immunizations, different stories behind each of those. Some of them are just non-attenders right now. They're just not attending school, and we're using every methodology we can to get them back in school, but we're down to just 10 district-wide.
Excuse me from diverting what you originally asked. Does anybody have any questions or problems with the format she's going to use to report this?
You'll have the data up
As long
front,
as
but
we
we
get it
won't just
up
go
front,
into depth.
Okay,
Yeah, that's all right. What the hell?
all righty.
I do have a question
Sure.
in regards to, when you just mentioned how many kids are still out?
10.
10. Okay. But we do have more kids still out of school than that. And I know I mentioned this last year.
Chronic
I want you to
absenteeism.
look at the chronic absentees and
Yes.
just find the kids. At least we ought to know what children were previously enrolled in this school who are not enrolled in this district as of now.
Yeah,
okay?
because in our district or another district, because by now, any other district would have requested records if they moved out of ours. So yes, we could.
Well, we need to get on it, and we need to know how many that is, because
Yes, ma'am.
I know, I checked on a student, and they're not officially enrolled in school, and so we need to know. That's
And
where your
then know what we're
dropouts
doing.
come, and nobody's looking to see what they're doing, where they're
Fall
at.
between the cracks, I agree.
Yeah.
So one
So
of the
we need to get off
scores
the
that
cracks.
is new this year on the report card that we've never seen before is called chronic absenteeism, which is different than chronic truancy. So chronic truancy are the students who are just not coming to school and they're unexcused. And then chronic absenteeism is the number of students who are out, whether it's excused or unexcused. Because oftentimes if they're not in school because have long illnesses or somebody's calling you in on a regular basis, it also affects your schooling and your ability to do well in school. So it is kind of interesting that they're delineating those two different scores now. So we'll give you a full report. on that.
But what I'm speaking of is the kids that have not
Not
enrolled in school.
Right. Okay, I believe that's the end of my official report. If you have any.
Great, thank you. Okay, now I'll turn it back to Superintendent Gill for consent action items.
President Zimmers and members of the board, I recommend approval of consent action items 10.2 through 10.8 as described in the corresponding resolutions.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, can you explain what 10.6, what are they going to do? The whole brain teaching?
Yeah, it's a consultant that the Matheny Withrow is bringing in as a part of their school improvement grant initiatives. Do you have anything else for us,
Yeah,
Jill?
just to maximize student engagement. Really, to maximize student engagement, positive interactions with classmates, and it's really engaging all parts of the brain. Several teachers that went to a training and taken it back and started using it with the Withrow. And the intention is to kind of motivate all kids to be more engaged in their learning, along with their initiatives with Avid. This is kind of a double dose of really trying to look at student engagement from a different lens.
Okay, well, does the Matheny Withrow participate in the, what's that conference I go to, the AVID conference? Yeah, so why are we duplicating, triplicating services? Come on.
This is Matheny's first year with Avid. They haven't done anything with it yet, other than go to the institute for past summer. So I can say that piece, but other than that, this is their first year of implementation.
Okay, but duplication is what I'm talking about. And even though it is their first year, then they should be working on it and in it now that school has started. So while you're tacking on another piece, then what's the deal?
I think this is more of a multi-sensory approach in how the brain is intended to learn, and they're using it with Avid and strategies with Avid. That's a big part of what they're doing. But they're also looking at the multi-sensory approach, the whole brain, and how you're involved in all parts of the brain, no matter what kind of strategies Avid or other strategies they can use.
What day is that training going to be held?
It's on actually Columbus Day.
So that's the day that the teachers, through the SIG grant, are choosing to work even though they have the day off. And this is the program that they're bringing in through their SIG dollars.
Correct. And the ILT has picked this topic and continues for that extended day professional life.
And is this a one-time event or is this reoccurring?
They'll be doing it on the 8th, and then outcome of that will be some kind of virtual kind of correspondence between as far as the on-site. This is the only way we have this.
And will this be a program that'll be for next year also for follow-up and improvement? Or
Correct.
so do we have an idea of how long this contract would be, or is this in perpetuity, or?
This is just for this year right now, for this year's state funds, so for.
Would there be funds in the SIG fund next year if we're going to? And then, so how long, what is the extended, or what is the process with regards to the time frame on this? I mean, is this ongoing, or what is, is it a 3-year situation? Is it a 5-year situation?
The sixth grade goes through next year. So we'll have funds for the whole brain this year and next year for sure. It's a trainer model, so the teachers are actually training and observing each other and getting videotape and an ILP working together and actually using the PD strategies with adults too.
So you guys are aware that microphone is not working.
Okay.
We're all kind of leaning in a little bit.
I'm really straining like a,
Well, I thought maybe it's just for the TV. So that
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just crabby because my Cubs lost today. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
It happened.
Okay, anything else?
I have a question. Yes. 10.7. So do we always keep those 6 openings at the Lakeshore program?
Oh, 10.7, yes. Yes, we do.
So regardless of whether or not they're filled, are they filled most of the time, or?
They're just available if we need them filled. I know you're checking on the microphone there. In the Hope School, those slots, the slots that we have out at Hope School for those students who might need them, are they filled at this point, or are we still, so there are opportunities to fill, but we don't pay for them unless we use them, right? Or do we do, this is paid for them? Okay, you pay for 6 and we fill
We
them.
don't always take the students that we refer.
Right. So we're working.
So we don't have any of them filled at this point, or?
I'll get the number. We do have some
Okay.
filled, absolutely.
Okay.
But not all 6 are filled, so there's
Okay.
room for people to move in.
Well, and I know it's
And these
kind
are
of a-
severe and profound.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Can we just go back one time?
Sure.
And I'm gonna say this one last time. I am so sick of District 186 hiring consultants that are not diverse. And next time you people sitting over there look for some contractors or consultants, look for some people of color of some sort. And our cultural director should do that. And I'm just tired of it. We have got to get off the stick. That's what's wrong with America today. Nobody wants to act like people like me have skills and smarts. Do something different. Do something different. And that goes for you, Superintendent. I've said it to you I don't know how many times. I'm just sick and tired of it. And I just went on here and looked at this whole brain teaching, and I don't know for sure, but I don't think there's any diversity in there that looks like the people in the rest of America. Come on, get with the program.
How do we choose? How do we choose the people that we offer these contracts to?
This is a part of the SIG grant, so it's really a part of their external provider working with the school team to determine what they're trying to do that's a little bit above and different than the rest of the districts in terms of their learning, and
So we identify a need or where
they
we a
identified
direction.
a need at the
Okay.
school that they wanted to explore, and I'm assuming that their external partner, who's a part of administering the school improvement grants, had utilized this group or at some time.
Okay.
Anything else? Hearing nothing else, we'll take a vote.
Mars.
Aye.
I'm sorry, was that a yes or?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Moore.
Aye.
Ringer.
Aye.
Sisti.
Aye.
Zimmers.
Aye.
Johnson.
I accept present on 10.6.
Okay. That is 6 aye votes with the noted present on 10.6.
Okay, we'll move on to roll call action items, 11.1.
Ms. Sherman?
President Zimmers and members of the board, the superintendent recommends the personnel recommendations as presented.
Okay, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote.
Moore.
Aye.
Ringer.
Aye.
Sisti.
Aye.
Zimmers.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Mars.
Present.
That is 5 aye votes with noted present.
Okay, are there, I'm going to ask board members, is there any other further business? Hearing none, there will be no further business to come to the board. The meeting is adjourned until Monday, October 15th, 2018. I'd like to thank everyone for coming. Have a great rest of the week.